Welcome to the Native Diamond Podcast.
Oh, shit! What you waiting for?
What the fuck is up, guys? Seth Mick here, and we're bringing you a new episode of Native Diamond Podcast. And on today's show, it's going to be a fun one, okay? It's the band Captives. I don't know if you guys checked them out as of late, but they are a fucking phenomenal band. Just signed to Sharptone Records. I can say nothing but good things about this band. They are hotly tipped as the band to watch moving forward. They are making a lot of noise. And I didn't really get to mention in the interview, but they have made it to SiriusXM. I've seen them all over Octane lately. It's been awesome just being able to jam them in the car. It's been nice to see the growth of the band in the meantime of me doing all my podcast stuff. Yet again, I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for checking out the show. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm not running towards the finish line. This is going to be something I do a lot. So it's been nice to see the small, steady growth. It's nice to have people that actually care about what I'm doing and me as a person and just building that circle. If you want to support the podcast, there is a link. It's through Anchor. You can donate as much or as little as you want, or you don't even have to do that. That just helps support the podcast monetarily. But you can just share my shit on social media. That's probably the easiest way to help and get the word out, because word of mouth is everything in the podcast world. But anyway, we're going to jam some music today. We're going to tell stories about how Captive started, up till getting signed, to crazy road stories and all that shit in between. We're going to fucking joke around a lot. We're going to laugh. This is going to be a fun one. So without further ado, let's get into my conversation with the band Captives.
Finally agree, I'm a mess. I confess to the lies and my mistakes. They convulse till they scream and they cry. 'Cause I feel so exhausted. I just wanna be free. Protect myself, but that's what's all and not let it capture me. Maybe I should take back what you meant to me. Just like you took myself away. It's like a war I fight.
What's up, my dudes? Seth Mick here. This is Native Diamond Podcast, and we're kicking off the new year with a special episode. I had the whole band Captives on the Zoom meeting today. Post-hardcore inspired metal based in Leeds, UK. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
So-
good. How we doing? Good.
Pretty good, man. If you've never seen the show, we'll start off with Icebreaker Questions. They're about 25 or so either or style questions, and I'll kick it off with the first one. Someone just assume the lead, and we'll just take turns, Indian style, I guess.
Sounds good.
Pass to the left. All right, cool. All right, first question. Outline in color or slaves?
Slave.
I think every single one of us is probably We love that band.
Nice.
Yeah. Big,
Um,
big influence on us, to be honest. I've liked them since the first EP, not EP album.
Mhm.
Throughout We Are All Equals.
Nice.
Back when they had Johnny Craig.
The Johnny Craig era.
Yeah. And then this new album was just like, blew my mind.
Definitely. Yeah, I wanted to say you guys kind of remind me of like each other. I don't want to say like one reminds me of the other, but they both come to mind when I think about, the bands.
They
Next,
like Yellow too.
yeah, they like Yellow. You guys have the same like aesthetic going on. It's pretty cool. If you guys toured together, it would be an easy transitional thing.
We could just sell each other's merch. We'd just be like, yeah, that's our merch, that Yellow stuff.
Yeah. Pretty interchangeable. So next question. Is the earth flat or round?
Oh, Right, I've just watched a documentary on this 2 days ago,
Why?
I think just closing mind people actually believe it.
Was the documentary just a picture of the Earth? And you were like, the end.
Oh no, they had this big convention and everything. There were so many nutters.
Holy shit.
I don't
We
think
all,
we have.
we all know that the Earth is round in our band.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyone listening who.
No questions. No one's questioning that. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Dayseeker or like moths to flames?
Okay.
I'll let someone else say this because everyone knows my answer.
Yeah, Dayseeker for me.
Yeah, it's a close one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's close. I think because it depends. It depends when you were asking me, and which Moss album. Do you know what I mean? I really liked the. Was it Dark Divine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the production.
Incredible.
I liked the songs, but I didn't like the production. But then I prefer the songs to the older stuff. But then the production on that, 'cause it's so heavy, it's so good. So it's like
We've got a mixed bag, so we'll go half and half.
Half and half. All right, cool. Did you guys like the new Like Moths to Flames album?
I've only listened to about the first half of it so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only had
It's a lot heavier.
Yeah.
I think they've now found the like perfect mix between the two. I think of like they were super heavy, and then they almost went like I don't want to say pop, but they went more towards like Slave sound, and now I think they're keeping everybody happy now with the super heavy stuff and but with the clean vocals.
Yeah, definitely. I've only listened to it about 100 times, so no, I'm a huge fan of like Moths to Flames. But anyways,
Did we give the right or the wrong answer then?
it doesn't matter. I think they're both. I mean, that's tough. I like putting two tough answers just to really fuck with the people, I guess.
Except for the Is the Earth Round one. That's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you never know. You know, like Deftones surprised me with that one, but
oh yeah.
well, it was just that one guy, but whatever.
There goes every metal guitarist's guitar.
Yeah. They're like showing a map, like it's flat. Look, like this is proof. Like, why would it? Yeah, why don't we walk around with a globe? But anyway, all right. So, football or American football?
Football.
Yeah.
From the UK.
Right. But I've seen like super fans from like Germany, and they're like all about some NFL. So it's interesting. I didn't know like how, just how much it's gone, outreach to other people.
Well, I do watch the Super Bowl every year.
Okay.
Normally I have some people around, but obviously that's not happening this year.
Oh,
Yeah, we've got friends in the UK who are big fans of American football.
Yeah.
It definitely is over here.
Oh yeah, one of my friends is like big into Green Bay Packers, and he was like, if they win the Super Bowl, I'm gonna cry.
That's crazy.
I always feel like English people watching American football are just trying to be just a little bit edgy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh no, I don't like this sport. I like this sport. So I'm gonna sit 4 a.m.
I feel like the commitment to it being on at a really awkward time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what time does it normally come on in the UK then?
Well,
It comes on at
I don't
noon.
know.
I'm assuming it's early morning. I would imagine.
About 7 o'clock, I think, on Sunday.
Oh,
But then the later games start at about 10:30, 11 o'clock.
I'm in bed by 7.
Jeez, that's crazy to think about.
It's on a school night as well, so it's
Yeah, that's crazy as hell. All right. So most recently, have you checked out a new movie or a new TV show?
I've admittingly only just started watching the Game of Thrones.
Oh, no shit.
wow.
Yeah, I only just started that. I just finished Black Sails. That's really good.
Oh, dope.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's
Just
really
don't
good.
watch the last series of Game of Thrones and you'll be happy. Watch it right up to the and then stop.
Everyone that I've spoken to about it says that it's like the endings, or like compared to the build up, the endings like.
I'll describe to you what Game of Thrones the end is like. So when we did that really good interview in Germany and it was going really well, And then they asked some really good questions at the end, and then they were like, "You need to leave the venue now." That's what Game of Thrones was like. It was like, all this time you have waited, and then they're like, end it now, get him.
Yeah, I've only just started watching Game of Thrones.
Has anyone watched that Queen's Gambit? That was really good.
Oh,
dude, I started that.
No.
It's
So good.
good.
Now my girlfriend's like, "Oh, can we learn how to play chess?" And I was like, "Oh."
That's not my cup of tea.
I literally brought a chess set home from work
No
to be
kid.
like, "I'll show you what's going on."
That's awesome, dude. That's one game that I'm just too fucking stupid to figure out, I guess. That's the American in me.
I just don't know how to do the way you swap the queen and the castles or whatever it's called. I don't really
It's
know.
the king and the castle, and it's called rooking.
King of the castle.
All right, so who's a better vocalist, Lucas Woodlane or Kadeem France?
Kadeem from Love.
Yes, and Lucas is from Holding Absence.
I'm going to go
You know.
Lucas just because I've been listening to them a lot, like a weird amount.
Yeah, I think.
We all know Lucas personally, so I'm going to go for Lucas.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
We've got to say Lucas.
Kadeem though, like I said this to when we played with them in Germany. I
Yeah,
said to the guitarist, I was like, "There's something about your lead singer where, when you see like someone in a really big band and you're like, they're a rock star, like the singer or someone in the band.
Yeah.
There's something about him, like he was just chilling and being really nice and chatting to us and stuff, and then he just went on stage and I was like, there's something about that guy, like he just had
That's
like
awesome.
to be fair though, Lucas is the same. Like when Lucas is on stage, it's like, he goes from chatting to you and he's a really nice guy, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Ninja kicks.
Yeah, they're both amazing frontmen.
That's awesome, dude. Which have you spent money on recently, coffee or alcohol?
Alcohol.
Alcohol.
What do you
I
guys?
don't drink coffee.
Oh, you
Yeah,
don't?
I'm not a big coffee drinker either. More of a tea or just any cold drink.
James prefers a Coors Light on a morning than a coffee.
James, you should show everyone what you drink out of. Get your
Well,
favourite
I've
cup.
literally just got some beef off my flatmate. I drink out of a plastic like protein shake cup,
Okay.
but I just put Pepsi
Right.
Max in it. I don't think I've ever had protein in it.
How long have you had that cup?
Well, it's got a brown stain to it now, so it's quite
Nice.
wild.
You know when you bought it, was it at the start of like a health stint? You were like, I'm going to get the shaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that.
And you were like, this is bigger than a pint. I'm going to have this for me.
All that's left is a cup.
Yeah, that's why I have my rums and cokes in.
You definitely wake up in the middle of the night and drink a full like glass of milk out of that, don't you?
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna hold up a shoe or something crazy.
Do a shoey.
Yeah. first shoey on the show. Let's see it. No. All right. So next question: Until I Wake or 1,000 Below?
1,000 below.
1,000 below.
I think
Yeah.
we're all in.
All
agreement
in.
there.
Matt appeared from nowhere screaming 1,000 below.
Right.
Below.
All right. Which social media platform gets most interaction for your band? IG or TikTok?
What's TikTok?
Yeah, Instagram. Too old for TikTok.
Yeah, Instagram. We don't have a TikTok.
We don't have a TikTok, do we now?
I was
Should we?
wondering. I don't
We're
know.
still on the
Should
uptake.
we? Yeah, I really don't know. I don't have a TikTok. I kind of wanted to start one, but then you come into this whole like age dilemma thing, and am I too old for this shit? Or I'm not gonna do the dances and stuff. So
That's what we ask ourselves on a daily basis.
Every morning,
Is it
it's
worth
like,
it?
too old for any task. You wake up in the morning like, I'm too old for this.
Is
Right.
it not just like a new Vine?
I don't know. I've heard it's
You know,
not
the
quite,
lingo.
not quite. Yeah, it's got the lingo. It's a little bit more. I think. I don't know. So management's not pushing. Your management's not pushing TikTok, huh?
Not currently, no.
Well, that's going to land in the inbox later, isn't it?
Tell you what, if
Saw the interview.
our manager does a TikTok dance as the pitch for us to get TikTok, we'll consider it.
Oh, yeah, see it. All right. So if you guys are watching, viewing, leave a comment. Should they start a TikTok? Would you check it out? That's the question.
Mm.
No, I'm just kidding.
Why
I'm
do we
not
do-
putting you in the hot seat. I'm just fucking
Why
around.
don't we get James to do a TikTok dance?
I don't even know any TikTok dance.
He's already in the
Yeah,
orientation.
all we need to do is fill our TikTok feed with just random video clips of James just doing his thing.
James is doing
So
every
viral,
day.
definitely.
How long a video can you do on TikTok?
I'm not even sure. I should definitely just get one just to out of curiosity because I know nothing about this platform.
You try it out and you let us know whether it's.
If it's less than 2 minutes, we'll be able to get James rolling a cig.
Here, I'll start one and I'll message you guys back. I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. So, which one's the better Atlantic? Chase Atlantic or Stand Atlantic?
Stand Atlantic for me.
Stand Atlantic.
I ain't got a view. Don't listen to them.
Can we get a third? Can we go for Twin Atlantic?
You can always pass.
Twin Atlantic was on at work today. What an accent.
So, Joyce,
Oh, very
we're
sorry.
totally going off
Yeah.
the question here, but yeah.
I've got to honestly say I've never actively listened to either one.
Fair enough.
Stand Atlantic are really good. I've never listened to them.
I've heard a lot of
the skinny dipping song.
I've heard a lot of good things about Stand Atlantic this year, their past album. So I don't know. I need to check it out, honestly. All right. So which is a better TV show, Vikings or Game of Thrones?
Oh, Game of Thrones. I stopped watching Vikings. I don't know why. It
Game
really
of
good.
Thrones had Sean Bean in it, so like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Mine's Game of Thrones, but it was Vikings up to a point. But then
A few moments later.
Oh, spoilers!
Hey, so I've never seen either, so there's no point now.
Tell me that you've got like a big button that you click like, spoiler!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to add a spoiler alert. I'll just like
Rewind
add the censorship thing in there.
Nice one, Benj.
yeah, I didn't think about that.
I saw somebody getting called out online because they were like, oh, you know when the Titanic sinks, and someone was like, no, spoiler! Like it's too late.
Right. All right. Who would you rather do a feature with? Dana Willix from Kingdom of Giants or Mike Terry from Volumes?
Mm,
I'm a big fan of the new Kingdom of Giants album, so I'm going to say Dana.
I would have to go for Volumes.
I'd also
How about
Interesting.
if
I don't know.
Terry did the vocals and Dana shot the video?
There you go.
How'd that work?
That's interesting. There you go.
Yeah, that's
Not
a good-
opposed. All right. So if you guys end up visiting the States anytime soon, or when all this shit hopefully passes over, would you rather go to Yellowstone National Park, go see wildlife and geysers, or Orlando, go check out Disney World and Universal Studios?
yeah, I'd go to Universal and Disney World just for Star Wars.
Dude, yeah, Yellow's so on brand. We've got to go to Yellowstone.
Yeah, Star Wars in it. I've not been
If
to
you go
America.
to Yellowstone and me and James will go to Orlando.
We'll build his own lightsabers.
Craig just wants to get, his family pass, like money's worth, don't you?
Get the fast pass.
He's straight to Simpsons Land.
Yeah.
That's on brand.
It's not even a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, Simpsons are on brand.
All right, what's your favorite throwback band? And I know they're still relevant, they're still making music, but referring to their older stuff, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus or Mayday Parade?
Mayday Parade.
Mayday Parade.
Yeah,
I'm loving watching Benji cringe as we say the word Mayday Parade.
I would pick Mayday Parade as well.
Yeah.
Terrible
I have
thing was
I have a story about Red Suit from when I was in Silhouettes. We were meant to have played a show with them, supporting them at Rock City, and it wasn't until we was like doing our sound check that we found out that they were like they'd stopped the tour bus on the way there because they'd had some sort of something had happened, I don't know, and they decided that they were cutting the tour right there. They were getting on a plane and going back to America.
Oh,
They want to load the gear up those
Crazy.
steps at Rock City.
They left us at Rock City. I was so gutted. It was unreal. So gutted.
Their tour manager definitely showed him a picture of those stairs at Rock City, and we're like, right, lads, this is a load in for today. We're going up those stairs, and they were like, we're off, we're going home.
Yeah, no. They probably showed you that kebab stall outside of Rock City, right? Here's catering.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, which do you like better, circle pits or wall of death?
Is this being in them or just
Instigating them or being in them.
I prefer just watching. It's a lot of exercise.
Do you know what? I'm gonna go on record that a circle pit is only good if like more than 10 people do it. Like I've been so many gigs, small gigs, like stuff that we've played in the past, like when we started out, and someone's like circle pit, and there's just that one guy who does that like thing, and you're like no.
The ska dancing.
Super Mario run around.
They wall of death.
I like watching the guy who's with his girlfriend who like just puts his arm like that in front of his girlfriend. He's like, I will protect you from one circle pitter.
A wall of death is more impressive than a circle pit, would you not think?
Mm-hmm.
What, because it has death in the way.
Especially because there's a build up to it, isn't there? And then there's like
The release.
circle pits, right? It's just going and going and going.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, right? What's more cringe, a circle pit with the guy, right, or when there's a big wall of death, but they go at the wrong time when he's like, wait for me, and you're like, wait for me.
I think that one guy, for sure.
What's he got in his sleeves? Why is he doing?
There's always somebody with a backpack on as well. There's nothing in it.
Or he's wearing like a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Which headliner would you rather open for? Fit for a King or I Prevail?
I prevail.
I prevail.
Yeah, Bloodbird drummer.
I prevail.
I think Fit for a King are just a touch too heavy for us.
Yeah.
Although I love them. Like they're always on my gym playlist. But
I want to see him do that scream live. That's the draw for me. Do
Hell
the
yeah.
raw. I'm there with the stopcock.
And okay, scene.
I Prevail would be a massive crowd though, wouldn't it? So
Oh yeah, it'd be crazy. All right, so theoretically, if you had a mansion, which would it include? Would you rather have well-being amenities, or would you rather have a moat? And by well-being amenities, like this is a thing apparently, like vitamin C showers, heated floors, therapeutic everything, dawn setting lights, all that.
You won me over at heated floors. Like, I'm good with that.
The lift.
I just really can't see the advantages of having a moat compared to like
it'd just be badass, wouldn't it? Like,
I want to know who sold you on that you can have a vitamin C shower. Like, who's come to your door being like, "Hello, sir, sorry to bother you." Just like some orange juice. Like,
have you heard about this?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I wouldn't like the moat thing. It's kind of like, are you coming round? It's like, yeah. Just leave the horse though, because the horse can't make it.
I shall lower the drawbridge.
I once, when I was younger, I went to my friend's house in Blackpool, and we went on a night out. And then I woke up in the night and went to the toilet, and I didn't realize they had heated floors, like in the bathroom. So the normal floor, carpet, everything. And I went to the bathroom, and I literally thought I was gonna pass out. I was like, "Oh
shit!
What's gone on? What's wrong with me?" And I'm like holding on to the walls. And then in the morning, I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with your house?" And he was just like, "Oh, we've got heated floors." And I was just like, "Oh no!" I thought it was the end. I literally thought, "What have I drunk in Blackpool?" That's
yeah, it's just kind of weird.
He's turning it up full so you can play The Floor is Lava.
But no, it's like a real thing. Apparently, Leonardo DiCaprio has the well-being amenities, and Dr. Dre apparently has a moat. So that's fucking
no way.
Strange. Yeah, it's a real
I bet
thing.
you Dr. Dre's house is bigger if it's got a moat. That's a giveaway of like,
yeah.
Do you want a house that requires a moat, or do you want another mansion that's small? The Scottish
Strange. I guess he's a doomsday prepper. I don't know.
He's a
All
dude, man. He can have anything that he wants.
Yeah.
Let's be
Got
fair,
army
man.
guns.
Guy wants to melt you.
Yeah. All right, Crystal Lake or Cane Hill?
Crystal Lake.
Like,
Still late.
That
Maddest band I've
that's
ever seen.
Super nice, dude. Super nice.
Dope. What scares you more, the paranormal or getting old?
That's a
Something I
rough
live with
question.
every day.
Yeah, getting on.
as the oldest, getting old.
Craig looks like he's about to summon the paranormal.
It's not getting old. It's looking old.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I look the youngest and I'm the oldest, so.
That's all. That's your wellness spa that you have at your house.
Yeah.
You've got them well-being amenities. haven't you?
Yeah, I had a look with
Prizes.
You guys should invest in the
older we
amenities.
get, the closer we get to paranormal.
All right, last question. So this is open-ended, but what was your album of the year for 2020?
Don't say slaves.
Can I get my spot?
I mean,
It's going to be a bit different to everyone else's.
Yeah.
To Spotify. James,
Man's
fill time. Say the last phrase.
Man's Pony by a guy called Rex Orange County. Absolutely brilliant album.
Nice.
I think
Yeah,
probably
very
one of
good.
my favorites was Machine Gun Kelly.
Sick. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, it's the one you think about last year. It's the one that stands out to me the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anything with Travis Barker on is good, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd put
definitely, yeah.
GP as well. To be fair. Really, really good album.
My Spotify says that it's Luke Combs, who's a country singer.
Nice.
He loves that guy.
It's just
Not a
easy.
bad pick.
That's just easy listening.
He loves that guy.
Mine's all just pop stuff. I realized that when we made Spotify playlists the other day
Mhm.
for each member, and I was just like,
Oh, yeah, that Dua Lipa album as well. I know.
people are going to be like, why is this guy in this band? It's just like any metal music.
Actually, a lot of people say they listen to pop on the show and country.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I'm
Yeah.
absolved. I'm absolved of my
Yeah,
musical shortcomings.
I think mine has to be the Kingdom of Giants album. It's
Nice. I'm glad you said that.
It's up there.
The new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That.
It is really good. Well, dudes, I hope you guys like those icebreaker questions. They're kind of goofy, but
I
seemed
can't
like we
believe
had
we've done
fun with
25
those.
questions.
Yeah, that was quick.
It didn't feel like 25 questions.
No, we ran through those pretty quick. No, I appreciate your answers, and I liked all the answers right at the end as well. I just did like end of the year episode, so we talked all about these albums from 2020. It was a lot. It was overwhelming, dude. It was a lot to go through.
I can
What was
guarantee
your
you.
favorite album?
Oh, mine, like Moss to Flames, and then my number 2 is Currents, The Way It Ends.
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
That was really good. But
That's just riff after riff. It's so good.
oh man, yeah, it's super good. And
Like when this riff's sick, and then another one comes in, and you're like, yes.
it's the songwriting, really, the structuring. I just, man, like all that shit got stuck in my head. The first time I listened to it, I was like, I don't know, man, but I just kept going back to it, and I think that's what makes a really good album, you know.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that 2021 is going to be one of the best years for albums, just because, you know, those bands that were writing albums and were due to release have had probably a little more time, like we had, to just like really refine it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this year is going to have some really stellar releases.
Yeah.
All right, so I have to address the elephant in the room. Are you guys putting out an album next this year?
Yeah.
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 Nice. That's all I wanted to know.
Likely.
That's all I wanted to know. All right, podcast is over. No, I'm just kidding. All right, that was it. I just duped you guys into that. No, I'm just kidding. No, really, I'm just glad you guys are here, because really I wanted to celebrate your achievements. I wanted to know the story of your band, because that's just something I'm trying to do more of on the podcast. I want to know, how did you guys start the band, and basically up until the point that we're talking right now. So, how did you guys form the band, and what year was that?
Chris.
Yeah, this is my favorite story from Chris.
So we'll tell the story as the members join the band. So there was me and Benji. We're in another band that came to its end. Similar-ish style music, but with like screams, a bit heavier. Like not as, I wouldn't say we were pop, but we're more pop than we were. So me and Benji were in that band. We parted ways with the singer. We'd seen Matt play a show in 2017 or something with Young Guns. Really amazed with his live vocals. I'd really liked Matt's band on record, but I'd never seen them. So we went to go see him, hung out with him. Really nice guy. So were all the guys in the band, to be honest. And then we were sort of like, oh God, if that guy ever was like free, we should do something with him. And then his band sort of came to an end, same time that our other band came to an end. And I think I literally just rung you. I think I just rung Matt.
Yeah, it did.
I was just like, hey, do you want to be in my band? And he was just like, I don't know. So I was like, I'll pick you up tomorrow, and you can come to the rehearsal space and you can see whether you want to. And then he came, and obviously at the time we had a different drummer and a different bassist. And then Matt was interested. We started writing. And then, do you want to tell him about procuring James?
Okay, so at one point we had a guy called Ash who was in Matt's old band as well. So he was doing some drumming for us, and he wanted like being a new band, you never know what it's going to be like once you release music. So I guess he was like, because we'd not done anything before, he was like, well, I can do this with my career, or I can put my faith into this. So, and he went for the career option, which all fair play to him.
Yeah.
And this was literally a week before we were about to go into the studio to do the EP. So it was like, shit, we ain't got a drummer. So we asked the producer who was doing it, do you know any half decent drummers?
No, that's not what we said. I said, who's the best drummer who's come through your studio? I do not care if they're in a band. They need to be in our band. And he was like, James Lazenby. And I was like, send me his Facebook. And then what happened? Do you want to say, James? Like, I can't fully remember, but I pretty much did the same again. I was like, you in the band.
Yeah. Chris messaged me out at Blue and he was like, oh, Andy, the producer, said that you're a decent drummer. Do you want to come try out? And I'm like, yeah, why not? And then weirdly enough, I'm a pretty lazy guy, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can be bothered, because obviously I've been in previous bands. And he would just getting to the point where it was like, oh, another band probably won't go anywhere. But as soon as I tried out, I knew it was going to go somewhere, like it was far more organised than any other band I'd been in. And then they said I could join, which was good.
And then you had a week to learn all songs, mate.
Yeah, we didn't have another choice, really.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You were the best drummer. So you got the job.
So, yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good job you had like a short amount of time to look for a drummer, isn't it?
Yeah. All the good drummers were like, well, we'll do it next week, and we're like, no, we need this week. Poor James as well. Like, James is like, this is the first time we've recorded music, maybe except for Falling Apart, where James actually got more than a week to be like, right, come up with what you want to drum forever and ever and ever. Like, obviously, until we released the newer stuff, Signs was like our biggest song, and I feel like James maybe heard the song like 5 times before we put him in the studio.
Yeah.
I hate to imagine how much you don't like the fills and chops in it.
Actually, I don't mind it at all, to be fair. Benji's pretty good at programming, so just copy it away.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I think from there, we left it quite a while to release stuff, because we were talking to a few managements, and we didn't want to just like release the stuff. With being a new band, we kind of needed a platform. So we got in touch with Dreambound, who's amazing YouTube channel.
Okay,
and started talking to Manny, who runs the Dreambound channel, and he really liked the stuff. And then as soon as we like released Ghost Like You, the first single, it kind of like it blew his minds at like how people received it. Like we never expected it to go that well.
Mm-hmm.
But people seem to really vibe with the music and Matt's vocals and the lyrics and like kind of the message that we were putting out there. And then we just kind of developed that, and we did like 4 videos for the EP. And then we started getting interest from certain labels, and we got his manager on board, who I personally known for years. And then, yeah, we got booking agent, and we started getting the decent shows. But it has been a gradual progression. Like as much as people say, "Oh, these guys have come out of nowhere," for us, it doesn't feel like that, because every week we're trying to achieve better than the last week. So for us, it's just a steady, natural progression of the band.
We did get like a boost, like Benji said. Obviously, when we released the stuff, because we were a new band, we had no platform. Like we had, mates and stuff following us on Instagram and Facebook. But I think the fact that we got on Dreambound was almost like we could get in front of people that normally a new band, like with no music out. Like, how'd you get in front of, how many people are on Dreambound? Like hundreds of thousands. They might not be all our exact target audience, but we got to like get in front of a load of people really fast. And then I think that sort of bred into the like, who is this band? Like, why am I hearing this band? They've got no followers. They've got nothing, no back catalogue. There's no EP. There's nothing. So like, I think that really helped us kick off the band to a good start of going, people liked the song, and then there was no more of it for them to get. So they had to like invest in waiting for it. Whereas I think some bands, because you want to be able to play shows and you don't want everyone to be like, I don't know any of these songs, they usually release the entire EP straight away. Mm-hmm. Whereas we'd done that in the past with other bands. And once you've released your EP or your album, or it's kind of like, what are you selling next? Because you're not immediately on the big tours. So we sort of, like Benji said, gradually went from single 1, single 2, released the EP, and we'd already kind of bypassed what most bands, first EP for most bands is like a throwaway. It's just to like, so you can play gigs. Mm-hmm. And that's probably why most bands get rid of earlier work. Like as bands get big, sometimes the early catalog disappears.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that because I think your earliest release was from 2018 or something like that. And I was wondering if you guys like went through like a rebranding type stage, some, like you mentioned, people throw away their back catalog, and I was interested in that.
No. So Ghost Like You, the single, was the first song that we wrote as a band, first one we released. So yeah, all our music's still up, and we haven't purged the Instagram. It wasn't another band that turned into this band. It was literally, we just said, let's start from zero. Sometimes it's a hindrance, I think, if you come from another band. You change the name. Mm-hmm. All the fans maybe liked that band because it had screaming in it. Now the band doesn't have screaming in it. You almost look a bit like you're faking it. Like, oh, they probably bought all these likes. They haven't got any music out. How have they got 5,000 fans or whatever? So yeah, everything we've done still online. Like we haven't like jumped ship from anything else.
That's interesting.
I don't think we ever will.
Let's tell him how we met Craig. Oh, Craig's waiting here. Like, it's me.
Yeah.
So myself and Benji have known Craig for years and years and years. Like obviously in the local scene, and he's been in bands. We've all not necessarily all played together, but I've been to gigs that Craig's played. He's been to gigs I've played, and Benji and all that sort of stuff. And Craig's a really great guitar player, and like he's kind of like falls into the same thing as Matt of like, oh, if the opportunity ever arose to do something with Craig, then we should. So obviously, like Benji said, we started ramping up. We started getting, decent tours for a band that just started. And then our old bassist, Lee, he was kind of similar to the Ash thing of like, he was already further down the line of like, he worked really high up at like a supermarket in the UK. And he had a lot of things already set out of like, and kind of being in the band was a bit like a roll of the dice of going, well, the band might do well, but my personal life, I've already got commitments, so I can't risk it all for a band. How many bands are like, we're going to make it, and then just don't. Like we've been in 20 of those bands ourselves where we're like, yes, this is the one, and then it isn't. So I went on tour with Craig's band, other band. And then it sort of, we got closer and closer, and I was like, look, you should just be in our band. Like, I think you've seen the theme here of like, I see the talent, and I'm just like, scoop up net, get that man in the band.
You're obviously out on tour with us, like guitar tech, and you're like, you should just be in my band. You're like,
What's the point? What's the point of Smoke and Mirrors being like, oh man, you know, I really like that thing that you were doing, and maybe, and as they're like, just be in my band, like it'd be cool. I even gave the man my guitar. Do you know what I mean? Like, take it, do what must be done.
So when you guys put out Ghosts Like You, your debut EP, was this basically the turning point and kind of what got you signed to Sharptone?
I guess so, because other than Falling Apart that we did in between recording the album and the EP, that was all the music that we had out. Obviously, when you're shopping yourself to labels, you obviously show them behind the curtain of, oh, we're working on this sort of stuff. So I think a mix of what they heard potential-wise in demos for the album, what they'd seen us do musically and sort of professionally in how we carried ourselves, presented ourselves, you know, how we were perceived by other people in the industry. I think it all led into it. I don't think there'd have been one deciding factor, but right. I think the fact that a self-released EP from a band that, you know, nobody's been in a band where it's like, oh, it's the new band from the guy who was in so-and-so. Like, it's all, the fans we've gained are all off our own backs. So I think that's quite an attractive thing for a record label.
Right. Okay, it's time to take a fucking break. We need to listen to some music. I know you guys want to hear some music. I want to hear some fucking music. It's that lull of the day. I need something. I need some coffee. I need fucking stop thinking about being at work right now. I need a snack. I need something. Go get you a snack. Go get you a coffee. We're going to check out on today's Hidden Gem section. One of the picks, actually, Captus picked Palmist with their song A Way Out. This is such a sick vibe. You guys are going to love this song. I've never heard of this band. I love that. I love when I hear bands I've never heard of. And then after that Hidden Gem, we're going to play the song Glass Heart from Captives, which is all over Sirius XM right now at the moment. It is a fucking bop. I cannot wait to play this on the show. I hope you guys jam the fuck out to these two singles I'm about to drop on your
fucking head. So let's get it.
I need a way out. I need a way out. I got my eyes wide open, but I can't see the light. I'm falling deeper and deeper, can't stop the burning inside. I got a million questions that's spinning, stuck in my mind. I need a way out, way out. Give me a way out. 'Cause I'm stuck in the mud, and I'm all that I don't feel save me and take me above. My walls are falling around me, can you keep them up? The ground's giving from under me, I'm not gonna run, 'cause I can't take it, can you save me? I need a way out. Can you find me a way out? can't stop the burning inside. I got a million questions that's spinning, stuck in my mind. I need a way out, way out. Get me a way out. Pretend and these sinking feelings you. I'm feeling exhausted. I just wanna be free to call myself from death's front door and not let it capture me. I just can't help but say that we should know better. We should know better, and I just can't help but feel like we should know better. Maybe if I take back what you meant to me, just like you took myself away. It's like a war I fight inside myself. I always lose and I can't help fall for the beating in my glass heart. The beating in my glass heart. I finally agree, I'm a mess. I confess to the lies and my mistakes. They convulse till they scream and they cry. 'Cause I feel so exhausted. I just wanna be free to drag myself from past front door and not let it capture me. Maybe I should take back what you meant to me, just like you took myself away. It's like a war I fight inside myself. I always lose and I can't help fall for the beating in my glass heart. The beating in my glass heart. We should know better. We should know better. We should know better. We should know better. And if you think that saying sorry can make it all okay, then you're the one mistaken. I'll put you in your place. I just can't help but say that we should know better. We should know better, and I just can't help but feel like we should know better. Maybe if I take back what you meant to me, take back what you meant to me, just like you took myself away. It's like a war I fight inside myself. I always lose and I can't help fall for the beating in my glass heart. The beating in my glass heart. We should know better. We should know
And we're back. And then I wanted to ask, so like you guys mentioned that you were shopping around and such like that. Like was Sharptone the label that you ultimately wanted to land on?
Yes.
Yeah, we wouldn't have signed with them if we didn't want to be with Sharptone and on that roster. But I think anybody who's at the level we were at, where you're wanting to get picked up, we'd be the first to say that you might point at a label and go, "I'd love to be on Fearless or Hopeless or Rise," and to be honest, a lot of the external stuff you see of like who's on the label, how those bands are doing, doesn't really give you an indication of what it would be like to work with someone. You might think, "Oh, right, it'd be great. They did, Mice and Men and Sleeping with Sirens, and that'd be great for us." But that was, 8-10 years ago, and the person running it then might not be running it now. And we had to do we had to make a decision based on what was going to be right for the band. Sharptone were always in the mix from the start. It wasn't like we'll settle for Sharptone. They were always in the conversation, but we didn't ever set our sights on one. We just set our sights on who's going to be right for the band, and that takes a bit of time to figure out. Of one might want to give you more money, but they might not have the time to give you what your band needs, or they might have another band that's too similar to you that when the tours come up, they'd be perfect every time, and you're always like, what about
What about
at the end of the day, they're a business. If they can send a band out that's going to make more money, sell more albums,
right,
then why would you be like, send the second best band from our roster for the tour?
Right. That's interesting. So basically I shot the whole message to you thing. So I did a podcast with As Everything Unfolds, I did with Owen Hill. And he was like, hey dude, like I actually kind of know those guys and they're actually really like nice guys. He was like, you should like just send them a message and see if they want to be on the podcast. And I was like, I think they're a little too big for my, audience or whatever. And I was just kind of like downplaying it. And, here we are. So it was pretty crazy.
I don't know how we scammed our way on this podcast.
Owen's a really nice one. Like, we had to send all our guitars in to get like set up for the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a 7-string to like practice the parts on, and Owen's just like, yeah, have mine. I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he literally sent us like all his pedals, his guitar. I was like, when do you need this back? He was like, when you don't need it anymore. And I was just like, this is like him awesome. And all that band are really nice. Like, I think that's one thing that's really good with the like UK scene at the moment, that I think everybody's been through the phase maybe when you're a bit younger where you're like, don't give out any contacts and don't, push anyone else. It's us. And like, I think the UK scene now is very like, oh, you should listen to so-and-so, and like, also don't want to spoil the thing later with the song you asked us for. But like, we would have never recommended a hidden gem by someone that isn't like a friend, if that makes sense. Like, we're all about like pushing. If everybody pushes each other at our level, then it's only going to be good for everyone.
Yeah, I see that a lot in UK bands. There's a lot more like camaraderie. Not throwing shade at like the States or anything like that, but I get more of like a crabs in a barrel type mentality from like certain bands from different regions and stuff like that. But definitely not the UK.
I think with the UK, like we've kind of got to share the territory. We're a lot smaller.
Right?
Yeah, you already know you're going to bump into somebody at some point.
Yeah, there's only so there's only so many markets of like, we might be, certain level in the Leeds bands, but then as soon as we got to Manchester, we're in their turf, and they're like, right, well, we're the biggest band in Manchester because we're from Manchester, and like it makes sense for us all to be friendly, because like Craig said, you're going to bump into these people. Like if you do even if you do like a weekender or something, you're going to be going somewhere where if you've
see
not
them at the supermarket,
their song, they know.
Well, that's interesting, man. So yeah, I mean, I really also want to know, like, what were your main influences? Like, where did you get your sound from, like, personally? And we'll kind of run through each person. That way they all have a chance to share theirs.
Matt, you go first.
So, I mean, my musical background mainly started in acoustic music. I didn't really pick an electric guitar or anything until about 2.5, 3 years after starting learning how to play guitar. So where I lived, like, there wasn't a lot of like musicians around where I lived or at my school or anything like that. So I was sort of alone in my musical like path when I was younger. So it wasn't until like I finished school and like I moved around a bit and stuff, and I ended up in college, that I found some other people that were like into the same music I was, I guess, like heavier music, and that's what sort of pushed me more towards being in a band. But by that time I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, something like that. So yeah, it all stemmed from there really. But I always loved like bands like Fight Star, Incubus and stuff like that had a lot more elements rather than just, you know, like heavy metal, you know, blast beats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot more melody within the music and the vocals. So I liked the idea of that blend rather than just wanting to be in a band and like screaming down a microphone and you know, smashing my head around everywhere on stage.
Yeah.
So I was in like one band in college and that fizzled out, and then I ended up doing a project for a friend in university, and that stemmed into the band I was in before, Captives, Silhouettes. And that sort of pushed me more towards like the sound that I wanted to create personally in a band. And then that ended up fizzling out, and then that's how I met these guys, and these already sort of had that melodic sound. So yeah.
Okay, I'll take the next one. So Matt was more like I'm used to writing the heavy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily listen to that much heavy music. I'm more of like a cool electro kind of chill wave kind of 80s stuff now. But back in the day, I used to listen to Lamb of God, Slayer, and like all the really heavy bands, Devil Driver and stuff like that. And I did pretty much all the writing for the EP. And I wrote it because we didn't know Matt was going to be in the band. I wrote it with like, this is going to have loads of screams all over it. And then like we got Matt on board and like, well, it doesn't actually need any screams over any of it. So we kind of took that on board. And I think if there's one, I wouldn't say regret, but I think if there's one thing that I feel we could have done better on the EP and stuff was to maybe accommodate more for Matt's vocals. So that is definitely what we tried to do with the album. There's still loads of heavy stuff, breakdowns, but then again, there's more synth stuff and ambient vibes that I listen to as well. And then Craig's influences obviously coming on the album. So there's a few like I want to say like 80s metal vibes in there.
That's fine.
Are you all right with that, Craig?
Yeah.
Plus my broken heart vibes.
Yeah, so that there might be a solo, there might not.
Nice.
But yeah, like my influences like literally range from Architects to Lewis Capaldi. Like there's no in between. It's just music as a whole. Who wants to go next?
Go on, James.
Go on, then I'll go next. Well, same with Benji. I listen to quite a lot of stuff, but when I started off playing drums, it was my godfather that got me into it. So it was AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy. So I got into a lot of John Bonham, and then I started off my lessons. I had them for about 6 or 7 years, and it got me into. It's very cliche. It goes Travis Barker. Then you get heavier and you go Joey Jordison. And then I think after listening to Slipknot, that opens your world up to so many other different bands.
Yeah,
that's where I started listening to Architects, which is where I take a lot of influence from. But yeah, just everything now, especially gospel. I listen to a lot of gospel just for their chops. But that's
when you
really
say chops, you mean drums, yeah.
Yeah, drum chops. Yeah. Well, if you're a drummer, you'd know. But yeah. And there's just some mad gospel drummers at the minute. Aaron Spears comes to mind. He's, I think, Ariana Grande's drummer. But yeah,
okay,
just
cool.
Everyone.
Let Craig speak.
So basically, anything was mostly guitar-led stuff. So my dad taught me how to play guitar, so it was all the standards, Sabbath, Thin Lizzy, AC/DC, stuff like that. And I carried a lot of that influence even into like my late teens still. And then you start discovering other like guitar-led bands like Avenged Sevenfold and Trivium and stuff like that. So, I mean, to be honest with you, that sort of stuff, I still do go back to it because you like, especially like albums like City of Evil, there's still a lot of stuff in there that you'll still miss. You go back and listen to it years later, there's still like guitar things that I've never even heard. So yeah, anything like that really. I mean, I got into Day to Remember quite a lot as well. I was going through like a bit of a pop punk phase, but they were always on the heavier side of it and stuff like that. And then now I'm 30, I just listen to country music, like Zach Brown, Brothers Osborne, anything like that really. And then if I want to drive really fast, I'll just put something heavy on in the car. Other than that, it's pretty chilled.
Nice.
I'm sort of like less along the lines of like the classic heavy stuff. Like my dad used to be a big like Iron Maiden fan, so I'd obviously be hearing stuff like that in the house. But then I'm more drawn to like vocals than the music. I know that sounds silly because it's all like one thing, but I'm more from like emo upbringings of like I was sort of into like pop punk when I was younger, so like Sum 41s and things like that. And then that for me evolved into like Funeral for a Friend. That was a big one. Like, that was like the first gig that I ever went to was Funeral for a Friend, Bullet for My Valentine, and a Static Lullaby or something. So like I'm more towards the like emo side where it's like, and that was kind of like my scene growing up. Where I lived was like a small town in the UK, and that was like that emo wave scene sort of thing took over, and there weren't gigs where you could go and watch somebody play like AC/DC covers. It was all just like, tune it to drop D, turn the fall, and like it was more about, for me, it was more of like a cathartic experience of being like, it didn't matter if people were good or anything like that. It was more of just the like, this is for like live shows that I would go to. It was more for just the experience of the crowd and the energy, and like looking back on it, like I would, do you know what I mean? I would not want to hear the kind of music that I was playing, or the bands that I was going to see were playing like on a local level. But you can't, I feel like you can't choose like what pulls you in, and that pulled me in the more like the live experience and the vocals and all that sort of stuff. So I lean more towards vocally driven stuff. So I think we're in a really good place of like, everyone from our band gets pulled in different directions, and really in listening to everybody sound it out, I can understand why the album that we've wrote sounds the way it does. Like Matt's got the more acoustic vocal soft leanings. Benji's obviously into like synths but has heavy background. Craig's got heavy background, but not the same as Benji. And then James listens to everything. So we're like, we can go from ghost notes to like really weird, not time signatures, but like stuff that a normal metalcore drummer would just be like, you know, there's the playbook of what a metalcore drummer would play. Yeah, but then we get the extra like sort of chops from James. Do you know what I mean? Like he might listen to Oasis before he comes to a band practice, and none of us are doing that. But I do
that sometimes comes dressed as Oasis as well.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I know you asked the question, but it was quite interesting for me to watch like one by one going, all right, that's why like.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It's almost a song for everyone on this album, I would say. Like I can point at, you know, oh, that's Matt's song, that's Craig's song, like.
That's
and
awesome.
maybe when people hear the album and if they listen to this podcast, they'll do a little bingo of like who who pushed that song through the process.
That's awesome, dudes. Well, all right. So a segment I do on the show towards the end, crazy road stories. So if you have any from this band or prior bands that you would love to spill, I would love to hear it.
Can I get a drink before this bit starts?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Craig, mute your microphone, Craig.
Yeah.
You can't have his stories on the podcast. So Craig's never played a live show with this band, like us as this band. We played with Craig in a previous band. He like filled in. But yeah, he's done more crazy stuff than us, I'd say. Our crazy stuff's like getting a really late night or something. Oh.
The annoying thing for Craig was that he joined the band back in, I think it was November, not last year, the year before. And then we had a tour lined up for April, and then COVID went, no. And then it got, you know the story, rescheduled. So yeah, unfortunately, he's still not yet. He's still yet.
Oh, Craig as well. We had a show in November, and we were like, "It's too soon. Like, we won't be as tight as we could be if we get Craig to play." So we sort of kept Craig at an arm's length, and we're like, "No, we've got those really good shows coming in April. Don't play this one." And he was like, "Oh, right, okay, yeah." And then now it's like, well, is it going to be April this year?
Right.
So yeah. I'd say the good thing is he didn't have to learn songs that we might be dropping from the set list. So he's not all bad.
Well, I definitely already did learn them. Let me just.
I'll really impress the guys and learn these songs that we're never gonna play.
Great crazy road stories.
We foolishly
there was a
decided
time
that we
when
would drive to Sweden. That was pretty stupid.
Oh God.
Okay, so we was playing in Italy last year with Hands Like Houses, and it was in not last year, 2019. It was in the midst of the European heat wave.
Oh, jeez.
And there was no aircon in our van. There was no aircon in their van.
There's no windows in our van.
Yeah, and it was like 46 degrees or something like that. So we got to the venue after this ridiculous. I think it was like a 10-hour drive in this.
We drove through the Swiss Alps, didn't we, to get there?
Yeah, and it was still hot. Like, it's never hot there, but it was still ridiculously hot. So we got there and we got to the venue and we thought, finally, gonna get some aircon. So we got in there, loaded in all the gear, and then they took us to the green room, which was this tent outside, which was essentially like a greenhouse.
Roof.
And we opened the fridge for the catering. And the cheese had melted inside the fridge. It was that hot. And I think we resorted to pretty much stripping down to his pants and laying on the floor because it was the coldest place.
Yeah, we had like big for aircon, didn't we?
They had those big tiles, didn't they, on the floor? And it was like, right, everybody get like on some tiles. I went on YouTube and watched like a hack where you can like poke holes in a water bottle and put it on the back to like dehumidify the room. That didn't work. The annoying thing was there was aircon, and we got to the venue, and it was almost like, oh, the band's here. Turn the aircon off. And then did they turn it on? Did they turn it on just as we'd finished playing, or it came back on at like the worst time? Like as if they had the buttons the wrong way around of like, oh, best put it on now, and you're like, right, turned it off. Yeah, Benji was saying we went to that McDonald's, didn't we? We drove 25 minutes in the opposite direction from the venue to go to a McDonald's, and we're like, they're gonna have ice drinks, they're gonna have aircon. They didn't have aircon, and in Europe they don't put ice in the drinks like in McDonald's. So we were just like, we're drinking sort of like just a room temperature lemonade.
And first time I've been to Italy, and it was the worst pasta I've ever had at that venue. Oh, it's so bad.
I think they didn't even bother cooking it; they just left it out in the greenhouse.
Oh yeah.
It'll cook. You know when you go to a party and they put out like Spanish meats, do you know what I mean, on a plate, and they're good for about 20 minutes, and then they get all foisty.
Start curling up.
Yeah, we got there and we were the cheese. They said it was melted, but you know when you get that thin Italian like the circle cheese, it was see-through. It was that hot that we were like, what is that? And we're like, I think it's cheese. We resorted to eating like oranges and stuff, didn't we? This is the most un-rock and roll show story. You know, we were mildly inconvenienced by it being a bit hot. It was a little bit hot in Italy.
And do tours, aren't we?
Yeah, but to be fair, like we're from England, where it doesn't get hotter than 16 degrees ever.
Well, look at Matt. Matt's in his home. Matt's in his home where he lives, and he looks like he's about to go out into the Arctic tundra. That's his bedroom. That's where he sleeps. Look at how he's dressed. We can't handle hot meats and melted cheese. We're not built for it. Plus, we thought it would be cold sleeping in the van. So we insulated the entire van, carpeted it, everything. Worst idea ever for that tour. We were just like, help us.
Yeah, I had to sleep with the door ajar sometimes. It was that hot.
If we stopped in traffic, the door was open.
It made no difference whatsoever.
Should we let Craig tell a story, or do you think they're not suitable?
Probably not.
I don't think it's.
Craig could get banned from the US, I think, for maybe some of his touring stories.
Well, funnily enough, all the stories are from the US. So yeah, maybe I tell it once we're there, and then I can't get deported.
Fair enough. Well, hey guys, I really do appreciate you guys being on the show. One question I do like to ask before we start kind of wrapping it up, is there one thing that you would like to change about the current state of music?
No, COVID.
Wouldn't mind a bit more money on a Spotify stream.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, in all seriousness,
All the streams.
I think from a personal standpoint, I'm not particularly bothered about the money on the streams and stuff like that. I think there's that much music available now and access to music that I kind of wish, in a sense, that people would engage more with it when they hear it. So like if I hear a band on Spotify and I really like them, I'll look where they're playing and I will go to a show. Whereas I think music's become that accessible now where that's not the normal. People are quite happy to just listen to the music and that, and that's completely fine. But I think that it's tipped the other way, whereas people just don't go to as many shows as I think they should.
It is a lot faster turnover. Like, can you imagine when we were kids and music was coming out? Imagine if every Friday there was new music. Like, there probably was new music, but it wasn't as accessible. Like, I could probably name you my albums that I had when I was a kid because you went to the shop, you bought them, you saved up your money or your pocket money or whatever, and you'd buy it, and you would read the front cover back to front, look at all the pictures, you'd listen to it over and over and over again. You'd have to, like, I kind of wish there was a little bit more mystery again of like, I used to love, well, I still do love Funeral for a Friend, and I went to Wales because some of my family live in Wales. And I, like, this is going to sound so stupid, but I was legit like, I wonder where they are. Like, I wonder if I'm near where they are. Like, where do they, like, we went into the town centre, and I was like asking my auntie, I think it was, I was like, where are the like rock venues? Like, not thinking that they would be there, but like to see through their eyes and be like, what, you know, where do they play? Like, and stuff like that. And I think some of that is like, I like that we can be so connected with fans. Like, do you know what I mean? This is, how would we have normally spoke to you back in the day? Like, how would you have found our music and stuff like that? So it is amazing, but I do think there's an expectation to just constantly just be like, banger, 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 you know, album, you have an album for a year, another album. Like, it's quite interesting to look on Spotify at older bands and the time between releases of going, oh God, as if that album came out in 2000 and then that next album that in my head was their next album that came quite quick was like 4 years later. And you're like, God, I must have been smashing, you know, Casually Dressed for like 4 years and being like relentless with it and being like, you know, when you used to get like DVDs with CDs, like that was so cool to me. Like, I must have watched those DVDs so many times, and like that was your connection with the band, and it was like,
yeah,
they were more like on a pedestal, which I don't think is the right way to go, but like it's very different now. Like Benji says, it's just like, oh, that album really, really good. Right, what's next? Like, and because we don't buy it physically, it's not like kicking about in the footwell of your car, being like, oh well, I can only put 6 albums on. I've only got what I've got. We've kind of got the entire history of music as fingertips. It's a bit like Netflix, I think. Maybe there's too much choice. Do you know what I mean? Like if you went to Blockbusters, you'd be like, right, well, we got 20 films, I have to pick one.
There's not really that personal touch really that much with like owning a physical album now. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think
we sound like dinosaurs here.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that's drastically diminishing.
Yeah, like we're almost desensitized because of streaming.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the only thing that I would like encourage people to do is that if you like a band and and you're really into them, then go to a show. If they're playing near you, go to a show. Like,
or put them on your podcast. No.
Exactly. And you know what? Like, as weird as it sounds, like, say if you listen to an album, you're not buying that album anymore. So it's like, is it that bad to spend £8 on a ticket to go see that band? And whether that be us or, you know, some bigger bands, like, it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, like merch is definitely the savior now, isn't it? Of like, I pre-ordered a friend's album, As Everything Unfolds, actually, with Owen.
Shit.
I pre-ordered his album. Hand on heart, I'll never put that CD in a CD player. Like, it ain't gonna happen. I don't even know where my CD player is. Like, it'd be in the car. But I'll listen to it on Spotify. But then, even though I'm not gonna physically listen to that, it's almost like I'm paying them like how you used to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, kind of
well,
like, if you can afford to listen to their album for free on Spotify or wherever you listen to music, then you're probably paying less to physically see them live, and that's 5 or 6 people not going into work for a day or a week, getting in a van, hiring the van, getting there, everything that's involved, and like, they're only asking you for like £8 or like $10 or something, and like, it's the least you can do if you like can go. And I think that'll change when COVID goes. I think it'll be mad at shows.
I think so.
I think people have realized what's at stake if we don't support musicians. If it just goes away, there's an empty feeling, being like, I want to go to a gig.
And it's not just musicians, like, you know, less people at shows. It's the venues, it's the promoters. It's literally not just the band. It's like everyone who works in that industry.
Fucking
like, and this is not even COVID related. Like, that for us, it seems like less people do go to shows from when we were younger. And that's not just for us personally. That's like bigger bands. And I think that's why the ticket prices probably increased for you know, those big pull acts. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
When you go see an arena show, like now, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I know the artists have no control over this. It's you know, it's the managers and stuff like that. But
is it too many hands in the pot in the same regard?
I think there's definitely enough to go around. Like, think how many like bands you listen to, and you've got time to listen to them. Surely you would have enough time to go see them play, if that makes sense. Like, there's no shortage of somebody wanting to see live music. I think it's just we're in the age now where you could stay in and you could stream a movie. You don't even need to leave the house. You could, you know, you could binge an entire TV series. There's so many options for what you could do with your time. And there's so many people who are talented, making films, making music, doing anything. Do you know what I mean? Podcasting's gone absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's one of those things where there's so much talent out there, but realistically, there is only so much time in the day. So if I was going to listen to a podcast, watch my TV show, and then go to a gig and go to work, like, I can understand why people have to pick and choose and go, well, you know, it's more effort maybe to go to a gig, but like, there's people there. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody's been in a band where you're like, oh, we've traveled, you know, we've drove however many hours, and you get there and it's like, oh, there's no one here. Like, or when people go, oh, can you not play in Manchester? And we're like, it's literally like, we've traveled we went all the way to somewhere in Germany, and then somebody was like, oh, can you not do Wiesbaden or something? And we're like, we're literally 40 minutes away from you, and I'm, do you know what I mean, 240 minutes away from where I live. I've drove straight here. How funny is this that we were talking about my buying albums, and I like actually dug out, you know, that, you know, I was saying, oh, I've like listened to those albums to death. I like actually dug them out the other day. All my like childhood albums.
Nice.
Like that DVD, Meteora DVD. It's not even a CD. Like, I've absolutely smashed that to bits. Like, I don't even know if that would play. But like, I think that's kind of what we were getting at. Of like, I won't ever throw these away. Like, these are like sentimental to me in the same way the music is. But
right.
I feel like we've seen a resurgence with vinyl for somebody having a tactile, like, oh, I will buy it on vinyl and keep it. And it's like it's a thing. But yeah, like the CD kind of seems a bit like CD's great for when you're touring, that you can sell your music. But again, I think that's more of a favor of fans doing to you of going, I'll buy it, but I'm probably going to stream it. Like, but it's still appreciated. Like,
it's stuff you can sign though. You physically
you can sign it and like
sign it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I started buying CDs towards the end of it, like the last Warped Tour, and I literally just bought like August Burns Red so that they would sign it because they were all there and present. So it was like a keepsake for me. So I think that's more along the lines of just having a souvenir, something physical you can look back.
And I think it's like a lot of things these days that like people want to show their allegiance to something. Like you know, people, you know, I might like watching Star Wars, but I'll buy like pop figures to be like,
oh, you will.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I feel like that's the culture now of like, we don't have to prove that we like something, but there are other ways to do it that aren't the old ways. Do you know what I mean? Of like, oh, if I really liked August Burns Red's new album, but I'm streaming it, I would go out of my way to buy a t-shirt because I'm like, well, you know, I'm getting enjoyment from what you've done. So like, you should be compensated. Like, and merch is obviously the best way to do that if you can to a gig.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. I don't want to take too much of your time, like I mentioned before, and so I just kind of want to leave off this. But is there anything that we can look forward to coming soon from you guys? Anything we can write down in our calendar?
Not on a calendar, but you won't be waiting that long for new music.
No,
it's
very soon.
Not that long.
Not as long as you've waited before. You'll wait less for new music than you waited for the new song between Falling Apart and the new song.
Wow, that was confusing.
Someone will do the
8 months.
Cryptic clue.
All right, I kind of want to wait on Benji before I sign off because I don't want to be rude. Just like he comes back and it's over. He's like, "Wait, what happened?"
He comes back with a big sign that says when the album's out, but you've already ended the meeting.
He went to go. He went to go find his CD collection.
Yeah, he doesn't have one. His Nickelback CDs are in the safe somewhere. Like, he's not gonna get them in time.
That's why mine are too. Yeah, mine are in the safe.
I'd like to thank August Burns Red Matt Groener for the drum beat that I robbed for EP.
No!
Wee.
Demonetized in 3, 2, 1.
Pretty time to announce that, mate.
Well, dudes, thanks again for all your time on the show. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun with this as well. I hope it wasn't too
Man.
Nice.
Thank you for having us, dude.
Yeah, of course,
Really
man. I'm a huge fan. I didn't want to. I kind of downplayed it because I didn't want to be like this super fan and kind of weird you guys out. But no, I've been listening since like it's. I want to say last year, but it's 2019. So it's like I've been listening to you guys since like since the EP. So it's been fun.
We've seen your eyes, your drunk eyes when the music came on. You were like,
oh yeah,
that was big.
Yeah,
no,
my drunk reaction.
We really appreciate it, and we'd love to do this again. Like I can see from everyone's faces that we've like enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think we should do it drunk like how you did. I think we should all.
Yeah.
We should be absolutely levered.
Yeah.
Chaos. It'll be chaos.
That's when you find out when the album's coming out. When we're just levered. And we're like,
all right, I have a suggestion. You guys should get drunk, do reactions of people doing reactions to videos.
I watched a reaction video in bed last night. I was like, I couldn't get to sleep, and I was just like, oh, I'll just see what's going on. Like, obviously, because I've like watched other reaction videos yesterday, and like, there's nothing more like, I don't know. That's the most nervous I ever get of like, are they gonna absolutely hate it? And then I have to go to sleep being like, we're terrible. This guy's just like got his document out of like, this is why they're bad. This is why they're always bad. And I'm like rolling that dice just before I go to sleep. It's like watching like a scary movie just before you go to sleep.
Trust me, I know. I have to read my own comments, so it can get kind of brutal sometimes.
Oh God, we read all our comments as well.
Oh, yeah. Man.
We could have a million good comments and there'd be one guy going, it was all right. And we're like, oh.
We did a reaction to Bring Me the Horizon with the Baby Metal, the Kingslayer song. And dude, I got roasted so many times. I had to stop reading the comments because I was just getting. But
were you singing the Japanese parts? Is that what you were doing?
No, I was wearing an $18 rapper chain off Amazon. It was a joke, and people were just they were just like stereotyping me, like low key, like on some weird shit. So.
Craig will stick up for you. You've got your chain on, haven't
you? No, mine was like this big gaudy thing. But mine was a joke. It was supposed to be funny, but I don't think they got the joke. So anyway,
next
try
time
it again next time. Yeah,
ignore them.
Yeah,
right. Well, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say, leave behind to the viewers before you say about your band before we head out?
Look forward to the album.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Don't have to wait long for new music. Thank you for being patient with us. You would have had it sooner. Obviously, COVID, everybody knows. If you can support us, like merch really helps us in this time. Like we've literally just got put into another lockdown in our country. Like we don't know when we'll be able to play that first show. So if people can help, then that's great. And if anybody wants us to do anything, like you said, drunk reactions to reactions of us, then we've got time.
That's a well good idea.
That'd be so funny.
What would the title be? You need to title it. What's the clickbait title for us watching people watching us?
Mine's always couple reacts. That's like the main thing. Or I'll put like wife reacts because for some reason people just like seeing like a female react to,
How about drunken idiots react to pissed up wife and husband?
There you go. There it is.
Reacting.
That's it.
You got to get Brits in there as well, and then that's it. Solid.
Yeah.
And you got to work on that. You got to work on that whole thumbnail face. Work on that whole thumbnail face. You got to have like the really like,
You know what? I know you want to leave, but I watched the reaction video and the face in the thumbnail, it didn't happen in the video. He was like,
yeah.
And then he just watched the video and was like, it's
like
good.
that.
This is good. I'm like, where's this?
Dude, oh my god, all these reactors are just so full of shit. It's not even funny. Like that's why I started doing them because I was like, I'm just gonna keep it real with it, And I brought my wife because I'm like, she doesn't even listen to this shit. Like, she's not gonna have a filter, so
that shit's whack.
She's gonna be the one who's like, that shit was stupid as fuck. Like,
she had the yellow beanie on. Come on, it was planned.
No, it actually wasn't. I went to the van store to buy her some like Christmas gifts, and we exchanged that night. I just so happened to grab the yellow one, and I was like, "Dude, we have to do captives because
it was planned."
I swear to God, I didn't plan this. I swear. No, I didn't.
We should do captives. What coincidence? I just casually put the yellow shirt on that.
Hey, blame Vans.
He could have done slaves.
Oh yeah, the double bill, baby. Keep that beanie on. turns it round. It's got sleeves on the other side. Collab beanie.
That's it. I bought the merch. Yeah. No. But anyway, I'm gonna do the little outro. I'll stop recording. We'll hang out for a second. But that was Captives, man. Matt, Craig, Chris, Benji, James. Go check out their latest release, Glass Heart, on YouTube. Go check out the Drunk Reaction. You can listen to their song on any streaming platform. Thanks again for doing the show. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you guys. That pretty much does it for today's episode of Native Diamond Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. And big thank you to the band Captives for giving me your time and actually for having all the members on board. It was just fun. I get to know a little bit of each person and what they bring to the group. It's really dope. I don't normally get that all the time where I get all the band members. Actually, that may have been the first time that has happened. Native Diamond Podcast first. Big thank you. And I cannot wait to hear this new album that we're talking about. Hopefully it is sooner than later. I cannot wait to hear more Captives. So many artists in the scene have been shouting out this band. They're going to be one of the biggest bands, I think, moving forward. I'm putting my stock into them. But anyway, help me out if you like the show. Please like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. You know the drill. Follow me on socials if you do the social thing. I got some memes. I got some clips. We're always fucking around. So live your life, people. I'm going to leave you with probably the first song that I heard from this band, and it is called Falling Apart. Hope you guys enjoy the new year. Stick to your resolutions. Just know that you got love and support from Native Diamond. We always got your back, okay? Whether it be music or whatever the fuck. Live your life. Live your dreams. Here it is. Falling Apart. See you next week.
Hold me, hopelessness, never let me go. It's only in the imbalance that we can be ourselves. We're all just skin and bone. I'm glued but basically broken inside. I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart. Broken, all my hope is swinging by a thread. If I put more trust in myself and listen to what you said, I'm worth more than I believe. I'm more than just a face. The hides beneath the mask I wear, a mask I can't replace. Giving up, not this time, and it's right before my eyes.
Shine on.
Hell yeah.